some people in the hip hop community together. And so I want to kind of just, introduce briefly all of the panelists, and then we're going to get into the conversation discussion. So I like to say, it's just so that, and I understand, we could have had, a 25, 30 person panel, you know what I'm saying, for real. So I don't want anybody to think if you're not up here that your contribution hasn't been recognized, you know what I'm saying? And also, this is the first. This is our hip hop plenary. We also have 3 panels on Saturday that we'd like you to attend. At 9 a.m. we're talking hip hop and activism. At 1 p.m. on Saturday we're talking how to survive in the entertainment industry as a socially conscious artist. And then at 4 p.m. we're talking about hip-hop and the relationship between hip-hop and the Declaration for Peace and people using hip-hop in different communities to stop the violence in their community. So I want to start, right here, you know what I'm saying? You talk about, one of the legendary hip-hop groups, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about a legendary hip-hop figure from New Jersey. Can we give it up for Ben Rock? I'm not even going to make it. Next, there was another legend, when you're talking about, hip-hop, when you're talking about the photography of hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? This brother, if they were anybody in hip-hop, he got a picture of, and also beyond hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, he had the famous book, Who Shot Ya? Can we give it up for our brother, Ernie Panaccioli? Also from Jersey, right? Jersey City, you know what I'm saying? I want to thank this brother, man, because we felt like we knew, coming to Newark, New Jersey, that we really needed the assistance to put this hip-hop panel together from somebody that has roots here, you know what I'm saying? And, not only is Hakeem Green an accomplished hip-hop artist, from the group Channel Live, you know what I'm saying, where he's been doing the 24 hours a piece for the past 5 years?
6 years.
6 years, a 24-hour hip-hop concert in Newark. We get up for Hakeem Green, man. Talking about how to organize hip-hop, and we're going to hip-hop artists for socially conscious music and movements, and at the forefront of that is this sister right here, coming off of the first social justice hip-hop concert called Many Rivers that took place this year in Atlanta, Georgia. Can we give it up for the founder of Sankofa, Gina Belafonte, co-founder. Next to her, another legend in hip-hop, you know what I'm saying, from on the mic, and the production area, you know what I'm saying, from the group, one of the groups that are the reason I rap today, Brand Nubian. Can we give it up for our brother, George? And really, Lord Jamar has also become kind of like this figure, this hip-hop critic. So I'm going to get into when I begin to talk to you. Hip-hop is doing it media-wise as well. We have a brother that's from one of the most popular podcasts out right now called No Filters. He built his own platform, Doggie Diamonds TV. Can we get over Doggie Diamonds, y'all? We're going to have a conversation in this roundtable about hip-hop and politics. And this sister has been at the forefront of the combination of hip-hop and politics. She has an organization called Hip Hop Union. Can we give it up for Janae Butler, y'all? The great work of Sankofa, and the co-founder of Sankofa, and a brother who has a long history of also being on the business side of the music industry. Can we give it up for my brother Raul Roach? And last but not least, you know what I'm saying, another one of my mentors. This brother is a hip-hop scholar. He's an author of the book Hip Hop Generation and Why White Kids Love Hip Hop. And also the founder of the Hip Hop Political Convention. Can we give it up for Bakari? So it's interesting that you sat there, so I can start. I wanted to start with you, Bakari, and the reason I wanted to start with Bakari because we're in Newark, New Jersey. This is where the Hip Hop Political Convention. The Hip Hop Political Convention was what year?
2004.
So in 2004, you brought together the Hip Hop Convention. Here in Newark, New Jersey,
right.
Ross Baraka was part of the organizing of the Hip Hop Convention.
Right.
Now, in 2016, we come back to Newark, New Jersey, and Ross Baraka is the mayor of the Newark Convention. Can you talk a little bit about the hip hop political convention is aimed and kind of where you see, hip hop and political organizing right now.
Okay. How's everybody doing? All right. Love to Dr. Daniels for continuing to do this work. So important and allowing us to be a part of it. The National Hip Hop Political Convention we started working on in 2003. There's a group of about 15 of us maybe, young people who were all, I'd say in our 30s, a couple who were a little bit still in their 20s. We're in our early 30s, had a certain amount of success in the work that we were doing as activists. Basically leaned on a lot of models from previous generations of movements. The Gary, Indiana Black Political Convention of '72 was one of our models. And so the history of Black convenings to bring our people together and help us to get focused and help us to pull our energy together and think through how to continue to fight this beast. And so that was some of the thinking. Our generation of organizing was unique in that the music was out front in a very big way with the commercialization of hip hop and the power and influence that hip hop was having. And so we wanted to try to tap into that energy and see if we could bring that power and energy to bear from the music energy, what we call the commercial, the cultural impact of hip hop into the political arena. One of the things that was really popular around that time was hip hop artists were going platinum, sometimes in a matter of weeks. And so we wanted to translate that influence into electoral politics and get young people more involved in politics to see if we could redirect those resources back to our communities. So that was the vision. The way that we ended up in Newark is an untold story, but I'll let it stay untold. I'll let Raz tell it. But me and Raz actually wrote about the idea of a convention in my book, The Hip Hop Generation. And I gave a presentation about it at Harvard University. It was a conference. I can't remember what the focus was, but it was a hip hop gathering. I can't remember if it was a Tupac gathering, or they had a couple of them. And so I talked about this, and Raz was in the room, and he came up to me afterward, and he said, we should do that. So me, Raz, and a couple of other brothers, Baye Adolfo, who I'm sure folks here in Newark absolutely know, and Hasim Shamari, who I'm sure folks here in Newark know, the four of us kind of got together and started scheming and plotting and reaching out to folks we knew. We went around the country. We had what we called local organizing committees. We were in Atlanta, we were in LA, we were in San Francisco, we were in DC and Baltimore, and we brought together young activists and organizers who we knew and said, hey, can you help organize your city, bring folks to Newark? We want to try to have an impact on the national elections. One of the interesting things about it was the 2004 election. John Kerry was the candidate, not a really viable candidate with our people, but we were able to change the dynamics so that the youth voter participation increased by 9%, which was significant because in 2008 when Obama ran, the youth voter participation increase was only 5 additional percent. This is an untold story, I think, because people attribute the youth interest in electoral politics to Obama, but really, I argue that the influence was a result of young people themselves. Mm-hmm. So the idea was to try to use this influence of hip-hop to bring it to bear on electoral politics. I think it's an important idea, and I think we come back to this idea now, post Obama and the election of people calling the Orange Man. I want to give... Chuck D has referred to him as Trumpenstein, which I really like that. I really like that. So I think it's an interesting moment, Jasiri, because I think it's so important to remember that before the election of Donald Trump, we were deep in the midst of a youth activist movement of the generation after what we call the hip hop generation, the young people that really birthed this, what is being referred to as the Black Lives Matter movement, really thrust to the forefront by the young people in Ferguson. And I think it's so important to remember that. And I think there's this contrast of young people going to this street level to begin to bring about change to what we did in terms of the electoral politics piece. And I think that there has to be a way to synthesize those two ideas. And if we are able to do that between this hip-hop generation and what I call the post-hip-hop generation, I think that we'll be able to make leaps and bounds from where we were. But what was interesting to me was the way in which the young people of Ferguson and some of the folks involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, they reached back and identified with either the Civil Rights movement or the Black Power movement, and they just kind of skipped over the hip-hop